I'm with Dr. Sami Basha from Bethlehem. Now, you have a heart to work with marginalized people. What do you do?
Well, thank you for this, possibility that we can talk a little bit about our service. And this is what we call, it's not something that we as a university or as person would like to do, but it's more, we believe that it's a vocation for us, because I felt personally when I came back from Italy that there is a great need, to highlight and give attention to what these, that we call exceptional people. And I have started to visit some of these institutions and even meeting with parents that they complained a lot about the system, about the services that are not offered for their children. And there I was moved, I was touched, and I believe that at some point God wanted each of us to intervene in special areas with our qualification. So I believe myself that I was qualified in this area, that I have to give a lot. So when we love these people, we feel ourselves, we want to give more. And there I have started, just to explore where and what is better, what things that I can offer to these people. And I felt at that point, one individual cannot do everything. So I have started to attract, the attention of other colleagues from other universities and families, students. So I used to have a meeting once a month in my office, and we used to talk about, this category of people who we believe they are a gift from God. They're not a fault that they were born disabled. And we felt like we need to move together with them toward a solution. So if the society considers them a problem, we want them to be part of a solution, future solution, not for their good only, but for the good of the society. Because I believe personally, and I would like to say that, and usually I tell it to the Ministry of Higher Education and to the government, if we want Palestine to be blessed from God, we need to take care of these people. Because this is a gift for us, and we need to intervene in a good way and give them dignity and, all possibilities to live as any other human being in Palestine.
And of course, the Bible talks about that being true charity as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but but we have to be very careful about that. From my own experience in the Palestinian territories, because of the Christian presence, usually we tend as Christians to make charity. It's more than charity, it's right. I don't want, at the end that a disabled child go and ask for charity. I want everything to be offered to him or to her, being offered as her or his own right. And this is very important. So what we do, it's not charity. It's a pedagogical intervention, a training for people to qualify them, to offer real services as any other services that can be offered by government or by the system as all.
Now, are there a lot of disabled and handicapped children in the Bethlehem area?
Well, in Bethlehem area, it is distinguished by some areas around rural area around Bethlehem that people get married from each other. And I was one of the things that I can share. One of the stories that once I found myself, visiting one of the villages, and it's really easy to notice how many disabled around, walking around without services and so on. We have a good number, but I should admit that the Ministry of Statistics, Office of Bureau Statistics here in the Palestinian territories are still not able to have a real final number. And this is due to the mentality issue. Because when you get into a house, a home of people and ask them if they have disabled children, they usually tend to hide this. Because in the mentality of the Arab culture here, it's if you have a child, a disabled child, then it is considered as a curse in your family. So they tend to hide it. So this is shows how difficult it is for us, to intervene in such a culture, with this mentality. So it is something that push us toward a awareness campaign. So to make people understand that if you have a disabled child in your house, it's not curse, it's not your fault. It's something that has been given to you because you're able to.
Is there a need within the area to have some more education, particularly in intermarriage and also in this area of a curse?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have started some couple of years ago to do some awareness campaign with people with the help of different association, NGOs here in the Palestinian territories, and overall with the Palestinian Bible Society that supported some of our initiative here, and with some other, international institutions where we used to especially address the mothers, because usually the mothers spend most of their time with their disabled children. So we used to meet with them and try to give them some instruments how to make advocacy for their children and not feel anymore, being shy about having disabled child in their house.
Is there a lack of respect within the community itself for disabled people?
The problem here is that we don't have a public policy, a real clear public policy about disabilities. There we have a good Palestinian law for disabilities, but it's not implemented here. We have many non-governmental organizations that work with disabilities, but unfortunately there is no coordination between these institutions, and the government is still not monitoring enough these services. I can give one example. Like I'm personally working in the field of autistic children. I'm specialized in that area. I'm discovering that most of these children are administered by psychopharmacy, which is horrible. And most of the neurologists and pediatric, they give medicine to these children, and they damage whatever hope that we can have for behavioral diagnostic work.
Now, do the children here that are disabled, do they get help from the government at all financially?
Well, we don't have a direct help that we call part of the system to help the disabled children, but we have charity institutions, we have international institutions that usually help to the families or the child, to be enrolled in some of the special education schools and so on. But we hope soon that the government should take a real concrete step toward, giving a real to change the system and give a right to these disabled children.
So are most of the disabled schools that are here in the area NGO based?
Unfortunately, yes, I would say that, because NGOs are very important at some point, but if you leave NGOs working without public policy, without the government, then we're going to have a confusion, and this is what is going on in the Palestinian territories, especially in this sector. So NGOs are doing a lot of positive things for sure, but in this process of giving good services, some mistakes are happening, and they are really horrible mistakes, in front of these special people.
Now, you've got a conference coming up very soon. What are you highlighting in that conference?
Well, our conference is our second international conference on special education programs in the Palestinian universities. And I would like to highlight the importance of the role of the university to qualify people to work with people with disabilities, And we would like to highlight this time the autistic children, the type of intervention that we can do, the type of diagnostic work that we can do in the Palestinian territory. So we are inviting all the people who are specialized in this area, and we would like to spend 2 days, discussing and trying to coordinate and creating network in the Palestinian territory, how to have a better intervention. We are having some international presence. We're having people from the Catholic University of Milan, Italy, and we have from the University of Birmingham in England as well, and other people from the United States, and from a representative from UNESCO, UNICEF, UNDP, and all kind of international organization as well. And this initiative, by the way, is supported also in part by the Palestinian Bible Society.
Yeah, that sounds really, really great. Now, are there a lot of needs in the Bethlehem area in general here?
Well, Bethlehem area is distinguished to be a touristic area, so the attention of the whole world is toward Bethlehem. But my word is more toward far areas, like in the very south area of Bethlehem. I'm talking about Hebron area, where there is a real neglection for people with disabilities. Bethlehem is still lucky, I consider, in some ways. But if we go outside Bethlehem area, we find really a miserable situation for people with disabilities.
Now you're a teacher here at the university. Is the university open for all?
Well, I want to be very honest in this specific area. We are trying to be open for all, but some universities, at least I'm talking about my university here, we're still not ready to have, all kind of disabilities, like motorian disability, physical disabilities. We have already some students, but still other disabilities, I'm not sure that we're ready for that yet. But I think we have went, toward a better situation in our universities.
Why do you do what you do?
Well, I do this because it's something that come out from my conviction and my faith that it is true that I'm specialized in this area, the inclusive education, but I feel like something that moved me from inside, that I have to give it as a service, and something that I believe in, to support people who really in need of us, because I believe they are very distinguished people, a gift from God for us, and we have to take care of them.
And what's your prayer for the disabled community in this area?
Well, if it is Christian prayer, I should pray that God give them, the strength that they can, face the great challenge that they're having, especially in this specific area of the world. And if it's a prayer, a wish that, soon they can have their own right, to be as any other human being here in the Palestinian territories. And they have right to work, they have right for education, right for elections as well, right for a social interaction, and a right for psychological stability as well.
Well, Dr. Sami, thank you for sharing your heart.
Thank you. Thank you.